Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. The Colts trade for Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner for A.D. Mitchell and 2 first-round picks. Welcome back to the Colts cast. I'm Eric Smith, and alongside me is no one because Jamal is on vacation again. Not really, but he is unavailable. I think he'll be available tomorrow to talk about this. So I'm just gonna get all the good news out, give my quick opinion, and then we'll just go from there. So, as reported by Adam Scheffler, the Colts are trading for cornerback Sauce Gardner with the Jets. The Jets do receive a 2026 and 2027 first round pick, along with former second round pick, A.D. Mitchell. Holy fucking shit, Colts Nation. It's actually happening. The Indianapolis Colts are telling their fan base the time is now. We're doing this for Jim Irsay. Let's go. Like, what? Now, hold on. I will say that was my initial reaction. I was like, yo, pop bottles. Let's get it. We got Sauce Gardner. And then the truth started settling in. So I'm gonna play both sides of it because that's how I am. Look at you, Chris Ballard. Look at you. Let's fucking go. Fuck them picks. We going all the way to the Super Bowl. Now, let's talk about it because, hold on. Before we do, as always, gotta hit that subscribe button. If you aren't subscribed, hit that like button on this video. Comment below with your thoughts. How do you feel about this trade? What do you think about the future of the Colts? Was this a good move? Was this a bad move? And then, real quick, I want to plug my other podcast. It's a basketball podcast, the Six Hornet. So I started a Charlotte Hornets podcast. Go check that out if you're a Charlotte Hornets fan or if you're just a fan of me. Doing that solo. So there it is, the Six Hornet. All right, anyway, just had to do a shameless plug. So on one hand, you might say it's a crazy price to pay. But I will say draft picks are dart throws. There's no guarantee that they'll pan out, that they'll be a starter, that they'll be a rotational player. Like, they could be on another team in a few years. They could be playing in Canada. You never know. So our pick this year is most likely to be super late, 2027. Given the trend, I mean, it's probably going to be the same thing. I think we retain a lot of personnel going into that year. It's just like, or I guess in the 2026 for a 2027 pick. But with Sauce Gardner, you're getting the known asset, the elite talent at an important position. I think cornerback is an underrated position, but especially not just on any NFL team. It's especially true on the Colts. And, this group has been heavily injured. It's pretty inexperienced without Charvarius or Mooney Warren there in the last year or so. So you do have to pay the price for an incredible asset. On the other hand, there is another hand. So the reality is we paid the Micah Parsons price, essentially. They got traded for the same package, 2 firsts and a player. And some would argue that A.D. Mitchell is the more talented one, the one who has the more upside. And, the Cowboys got clowned, though, when they traded a generational pass rusher, calling that one of the dumbest trades of all time. Because usually pass rushers like that aren't just on the trade block. So then you look at it. Okay, that's for a pass rusher. Is a lockdown cornerback just as valuable? Probably not. But I'm a fan of lockdown corners. You know that. Like ever since Stephon Gilmore came in here for that 1 year, like I like that. So but Plus, you have to add in the fact that Sauce Gardner, he's owed a lot of money in the next few years. So I think he's the highest paid cornerback in the league, about 25 million each year for the next 2 years. And then you have to think about, like, okay, what if Sauce doesn't play at an elite level? That will be the final blemish on Chris Ballard's tenure with the Colts if that happens. I don't expect that to happen. I think Sauce Gardner is a top 3 cornerback in the league. Um, he's a 2-time All-Pro, 2-time Pro Bowler, very lengthy corner, long arms. That's kind of how he forces all those incompletions. He knows what route you're going to run. It just seems like he's a very smart, high IQ cornerback. How do you beat a guy like that? You don't. Like I said, one of the best at forcing incompletions. And he's a guy that Lou Anarumo can say, look, Sauce, you're going to cover Jamar Chase today. And he's going to say, okay, I'm locked in. Not an issue. We're going to be able to play more man-to-man coverage on those second and third and longs. He's in that same tier, like I said, as Patrick Surtain. Guy can play press coverage well. People are trying to say Sauce had a down year last year because his numbers in some categories dipped. But yeah, sometimes you can't be number one in every single coverage category every year. Like, that's very hard to sustain for any player at any position. Next Gen Stats has a statistic, an amazing one. Sauce Gardner has faced opponent number 1 receivers on 45.5% of his coverage matchups, the NFL's highest rate. When targeted, he has forced tight windows, so less than 1 yard of separation at a 52% clip. That's also leading the league. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So I think Chris Ballard was like, look, man, Jalen Jones probably isn't going to cut it as far as like taking this defense to the next step. Mekhi Blackman, Jonathan Edwards, yada, yada. Got Ward on IR, but probably expected to come back at some point in the next few weeks. I think it's this week. So hopefully he's back out there against the Atlanta Falcons. But nothing against those 3 guys, but like, we're in win now mode. I mean, you are now when you mortgaged all your first round picks. So we need the best of the best. So the Colts secondary, when healthy, you're going to have Sauce Gardner. You're going to have Mooney Ward, Charvarius Ward. You're going to have Kenny Moore. And then you got Jalen Jones back there. You got Nick Cross in the secondary and Cam Bynum. This has got to be one of the best groups in football, if not the best. So bye-bye, A.D. Mitchell. You know, felt like his days were numbered anyway. Ever since he dropped that touchdown, he was kind of cooked. Those mental errors were very frustrating to watch. And, you know, I was willing to let him sit behind our wide receiver core and learn, get developed, etc. But at this point, we have a great receiving room that is complete with Michael Pittman Jr., Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and Tyler Warren. They each have their own role, and they do it very well. The Super Bowl contending team is set. Definitely win the AFC South now. We'll see how far this run goes this year, but you know, I like Sauce Gardner. I really do. It's going to be time will tell whether this will be a really good trade. So, but the Colts got better. They really did on defense. And if Chris Ballard and team thought that this was the hump that gets us over, then so be it. Let's see what happens. You have to be excited if you're a Colts fan. Again, if you're here, let me know what you think about this trade. That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We are live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. I'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all, take care.